Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Today is about the sun, the Soleil. Various titles you can see on the cards here. And this series that I've been sharing on Saturdays is one that is a personal journey through the Tarot de Marseille, and not strictly just Tarot de Marseille, but some contemporary decks, various decks from other countries as well, Italian decks, Swiss decks, and so forth. So this is a bright, bright card, and I hope we can all feel inspired by its energy. Welcome to you, Arya. Namaste. I thought I would just start. I'm going to read a few lines from Jodorowsky. I shine at the heart of the matter. I am its secret brilliance. It is nothing without me, but when it refuses me and does not see me as its vital force, it is a cadaver. I cease to saturate it with my drops of immortality. For you, my children, I endlessly engender joy and vital euphoria. Do not make yourselves impermeable to my eternal light. See how the wall is that separates you from me. I created it so that everyone could leap over it. It's child's play. Beneath my rays you shall know true, naked, sincere affection. I am the solution of all difficulties. I am the pure I, and at the same time, I am the resonance of the first shout. What you call darkness is only ignorance of my light and my ever-present love. I ceaselessly herald the end of night. Everything that is not clear is not me. I am the perpetual and regenerative renewal, the one people wait an entire lifetime to occur. I am called the sun, but I have no name. I am the radiant brilliance of life. And there's more. I think this is a really hard card to interpret in the tarot. I appreciate a couple of things that different tarologists have shared in their books, and the expansion of connections really does help. This is Flournoy's little white book that comes with the Noble Tarot. There's something I wanted to read here. With the sun, the individual enters into the direct vision of others' suffering. He helps them transform themselves. In the sky, 18 drops. Are they tears? There is now a real ability to help and heal. One has gained the power to lend energy to others in order that the incredible, the marvelous, can surge up in them as well. Of course, reading individual paragraphs doesn't give you the full flavor, but I think this card can get oversimplified, and yet it is really kind of simple. Welcome to Perry and Arya to this conversation. I look forward to your contribution to the conversation. Okay, yes, we will survive. There's a piece here for me. Well, there's a couple of pieces. One is that sun has always I don't know that. I want to say that as a vital, or as a symbol of vital life force, but it is life force. We wouldn't live without the sun. It does have this sense of healing and ability to energize. It is a reflection of the fire within. And it's funny, I was just looking at the Atea card, and one of the words on the description of that card is fire. And I know sometimes we can take this card to reflect an excess of fire, but so seldom is this card ever interpreted in the negative. Now, I'm not one to count the drops. And we talked a little bit about the droplets in the moon card and what they may represent and what we've got going on here as well too. I know that some deck creators are very intentional about the number of drops they place on a card, and that indeed there is powerful significance. And I don't know if that at that level I'm going to be reading these cards. The piece here that today that I would love to get some input on is the wall. And it's been suggested that of all the parts of this card, the sun is the most important. The human figures would be second and the wall third. And as I was reading through several descriptions, I was thinking about the Tildwick Tarot and what the Tildwick Tarot represents. I did a deep dive some time ago with this deck, and there are a lot of walled gardens and places for humans to walk and picnic and play. And yet nothing is happening in the gardens in the Tildwick. It's it feels like an abandoned estate. But that's not the point. I was just thinking about how humans create spaces. We create spaces to play, containers to play, containers to be in. And it's funny that I use that choice of word, because a wall does separate. And I should have pulled out that deck, but there's this one card where you see the manicured garden on the inside, and then on the outside you see the wilderness, the wildness outside the wall. So I wonder if there's something about this card that says something about the wanting to control nature, man's nature. Man wanting to control nature by containing it. I'm just thinking of how some gardens are so perfectly kept and manicured. But the wall, we rarely discuss the wall, and I think the wall has a significance here. Maybe a significance we don't normally speak to. I want to go to a couple of comments here. Perry says, the sun is a great blessing for our existence and our planet to be a habitat for our ongoing eternal energetic resonance of life unfolding in the mystery, shelter from the elements, and protection. Yeah, protection. It's a good word as well too. And there's such intention with the creation of a wall. So not to see the wall or speak to the wall, I think we might lose something in this card. So let's come back to that. Isn't this a beautiful card? This is the Francois Gassman Tarot. So this is a Swiss tarot, right? I believe. The Jacques V Tarot does kind of look familiar, if you're familiar with the Waite-Smith system. And this one here is the Vachetta Tarot. Love the colors in this deck. This is the Madanier, and the Madanier is 1709, so a little bit after Noble and the Viavi, which are both 1650. And so this is the Noble. This is Bendov's CBD, and I have this one out for another reason I want to discuss. And this is the Jean-Pierre Payen Tarot. So, for the most part, besides the wall, we have two figures in the card. And if you go back to the Noble, they are clearly one feminine and one masculine. And I would say that the same in the Gassman Tarot, though those are quite some legs on the figure on the right. And then the age, to me, these look like adults. These ones look a little bit younger, perhaps. And for the most part, we just have a loincloth, except in the Noble, I'm seeing more clothes on the figure on the left. So yeah, I want to talk about the faces on the sun as well too. Maybe I'm sort of approaching this in a reverse order of significance. And we definitely see a garden on the ground. Here it's not so clear what's on the ground. Okay, so are these adults? Are these children? Does it matter? Is one male? Is one female? Are they both masculine? Are they both feminine? Does it matter? And the literature is really, the jury is out on all of this and what these two figures represent. I'm sure you've read the interpretations of Castor and Pollux and Remus and Romulus and Adam and Eve and all kinds of associations. But it's interesting because if you read open reading style in the Tarot de Marseille, we have a few cards where we have two figures, right? We have the Lovers, and we have the Devil, and then we have this card. And so there absolutely has to be a connection between these three cards. The evolution or the story of the two figures among these three cards. And I don't know how you would not connect them if they came together in a reading. The setting, of course, is a little different in each of these cards, and maybe that's something that I could spend some time looking at, because I feel that I don't know this card, and I want to find a better way with this card, and I didn't take the time to pull out from each of these decks the Lovers and the Devil. And so that, I think that would be a great extra video perhaps to do, maybe even next week, and then carry on with the individual ones after. I'm just really intrigued and want to understand more. Now, when I look at the Noble, this is Fleur Noir's Noble Tarot, I want to go back to the wall. These look like Lego blocks. Why is it so multicolored? Right? Why? Why? And Dee, I wonder, hello, by the way, even if they are children. Because if you look in the Noble, we clearly have developed upper body. And like I said, the age of these figures seems to be portrayed a little differently. And these ones are just look very, very unhappy. And there's something between the two of them. And I don't know if that is the wall or not, but it looks like there's something between the two of them, a red something. This might also be a good thing to look at, and that is the space, as well as the hand gestures that are connecting the bodies. Yes. Okay, good. So I think I will do that next week, and then we'll carry on after that with jugement and with judgment, world, and fool. Okay. Perry. The male figures are touching the stomach of the female, and the female is touching the shoulder of the male. Yeah, oddly significant. I agree, like oddly large. Oddly large, especially when I'm looking in the camera at this one here. They appear giant. But we know that in the perspective in the Tarot de Marseille is odd. And they're not playing. They are touching each other. They are connecting in some way. So the figure on the right has generally speaking, has a right hand on the back of the neck of the other figure. And then the figure on the left has the left hand touching the torso. Sometimes it's described as the heart of the other figure. So does this not imply I think we can read something into this in connection with the Lover's card. And I believe consummation is discussed in David's book, among others as well, too, that, what may be going on here in the garden, in the full light of day, in the privacy of this walled garden. Blue legs. So in the Noble, we have blue legs, blue arm. Does it mean anything, or is it just printing gone wrong? Well, isn't blue connected to spirituality? And we have one pink leg and two pink legs. Skin colored. Honestly, I could make something of it, but when I'm looking at various interpretations across all of these decks, I think there's something gone a little funky wrong in the printing. But this is a reproduction, so there is definitely some intent here. And I wonder, could we compare this as well to the Temperance card? Because this does look like more like an androgynous figure. Okay, and then Arya suggests that blue may be suggesting shadow. Yeah. Yes. So seriously, so let's think about this. Who was doing the printing? Who was actually in the print shop putting the paint on the wood blocks and the paper on and doing the printing? You know, how old would these people have been? How much training would they have had? Would they? And you see, this is a really, I really like this question because it, sorry, distracted by my doggies. It reminds me of other works and things. So here, okay, here's an example. Metaphysical shop. You go into a metaphysical shop and there are chakra banners for sale. But if you know anything about the chakras and you go and you check the banner and you count the number of petals on each of the chakras, I'm going to say 75% of the time it's messed up. And that's because the person who's creating it isn't aware of what it is they're creating. It's because of a business. And one of the things I do when I'm working with students is that's the first thing I say. If you're going to buy some chakra paraphernalia, make sure you count your petals and you try to get something that is vibrating at a more accurate frequency, shall we say? Yeah. Okay, let's go back to this, some color comments here. D, the repros do try to follow what they find in historical decks. The blue ground seems to make the enclosed space a wading pool or perhaps a public bath. I thought about that, right? So here, this would be a conver reproduction. This is the Bendov deck. This one, so isn't that interesting, right? Quite a difference here between the green and the blue. And the green makes me think more of a garden, the Garden of Eden. Here, this one is the, what's this one? The Madanier. Again, it looks kind of, could be a garden, but it's also kind of blue. And the colors of the loincloths are a little bit different. Okay. Hi, Laura. Welcome. When it came to mass production, then the junior printers would be left to their own devices. It's so funny, you know, when I think of that word mass production compared to automated production today, or and even in mass production, I don't know how many copies would be printed on mass. I appreciate this comment, Aria. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the sun. The face of the sun, maybe even the color of the sun, the nature of the rays of the sun, the ferocity of the sun's face. I'll see if I can get all the suns on the table. Generally speaking, I don't think the sun looks very happy. the sun is quite serious or indifferent. Now, this one, which is the Gasman Tarot, to me, the sun looks more like a god. And what I was going to say earlier and didn't say was the sun as masculine, the sun as divine consciousness, the sun as divine masculine versus the card we looked at last week, divine feminine. I don't know if that is part of your interpretation or how you would read that, but I think this one here, taking more on a quality of deity, is really interesting. I'm having a okay, so look at that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So look at the red points, right? There's 8 red points. So there's definitely there's a intention with 8 points. And on this one, which is an older deck, we have many more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So many more points. I don't know. I'm going to get to Laura's question. The wood blocks be used until they were useless and need recutting. Right. I am aware of that. Apollo was the sun in classical myth. Okay. Laura wanted to... so, no, this is a French deck. This is Jean-Pierre Payen. This one here. I'll go through all of them one more time. So this is the... Let me take my mic with me. Jacques Villavi. This is Flournoy's deck. This is 1650. This is the Ilman and Gallows Tarot of the Master. This is Flournoy, so 1650 Noblet. The one with the green sun is the Madenier. So Madenier is 1709. That is French. This is a contemporary deck. This is Bendov's deck here, based on Conver. And this is the Gasman Tarot, the one that looks like a deity. So this one is Swiss, and this one is French. Jean-Pierre Payen, 1713. Okay. So what do you think about the intensity of the expression on most of the suns? I feel like in many Tarot de Marseille, the sun looks more like the one in the Jacques Villavi, or here the sun even almost looks sleepy or bored, much like this one here. Very, very similar to the face on the Noblet. And does that simply reflect, does the intensity of the expression of the face simply reflect the intensity of the sun? Or the responsibility of the sun even? Okay. Love the grumpy sun. The grumpier the better. So counterintuitive to have a cross sun. Especially if I think about this and we have the humans in the foreground doing whatever it is they're doing in their walled garden. Okay, here's another idea. Why do we think they are inside the garden? Maybe they could be outside. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm wondering about this. So in this particular deck, we are definitely out riding in the wild. Where is this person going? And when I look at this card, this does not look like a manicured garden in any way, nor does what's on the ground in this card. It looks kind of wild. So I wonder if that is a possibility, if that might be a conversation you want to have in reading this card. Like I was saying, I want to bring the wall into this story. Do you feel, is there any significance to the way you feel inside or outside the wall? And why would these twins be outside the wall? Okay. The sun usually does not smile, as he is indifferent to all and warms or burns without care for anyone's comfort. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Matthew 5:45. That ye may be the children of your Father who is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. As I'm looking at all of these cards, I think for me, the one that would be the easiest to read and work with likely may be the Gassman Tarot here in the center. There's something about this looks like a very benevolent face. There's a lot of life that's going on in the ground, life force in the ground here. Now, if I were to count the drops, what I'm seeing here is 4 drops on the left, 4 drops on the right, and 1 drop in the middle. So there's a balance between these two figures, and a single drop connecting both of them. So that might be something that I could read. Now, does that change? So when I look at the Bendov deck, do we have an even number of droplets on both sides? We certainly have 1 in the middle. Ooh, and there's one other thing that I want to share with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6, 6, and 1. So in this case, we have 13. Right? You may be able to read something into this. Ah, okay. Yes, I like that. To be in the sunlight is to be out in plain sight, no hiding, no invisibility. Therefore, we are not hiding under too many garments. Okay, I kind of want to leave this and then carry on the discussion next week, looking at the evolution of these cards from lovers to devil to sun, and see in our own eyes if we can make something of that. when I look at Tarot of the Master and the way that this deck has been colored, I really do feel that sense of creativity and vital life force and joy. And that gives quite a different energy than any of the decks that have two figures and the wall. Okay, so if you want to do your research, I also will certainly contemplate what is the wall in the Lover's card, what is the wall in the devil. So as we look from card to card to card, each of the pieces will morph from something into something. So that's kind of exciting. Unplanned special episode next Saturday. I hope you can join me. And thank you all so much for your contributions to this little chat. Thank you. Namaste.